everyone and welcome to the Kiki London YouTube channel. My name's Amanda and in today's video we are going to be looking at how to apply water decals in two different ways to create a lemon fruity set of nails. So I really hope you all enjoy watching. Now starting off in today's video, the base colour that I'm going to be using is True Nude. This is one of the new Hema free gel polishes, so it's completely Hema free and it is such a gorgeous nude color. I decided I would use this as my base color on all four nails, but I'm just going to show you guys applying it on one. So I've applied a thin coat of this, I cured it for 30 seconds, and then we're going to come in and do the second coat. Now of course, if you was working on yourself or a client, you would do all of your prep and base coat first of all. So I will leave a dedicated prep video I have done linked in the description box below in case you guys want to check that out. Now that we've got our first two coats of colour done, we're going to come in and do just a teeny tiny bit of hand painted nail art, because a lot of the time when I'm doing water decals, I don't like to just pop them down on the nail. I like to team them with something, whether it be a little bit of colour like what we're going to be doing on this nail, or we're going to also team them with some glitters and some foils as well, because I just feel like it really adds to using water decals. If you add in some other techniques with them, it kind of just takes them up a notch. So on this nail, we're going to come in with Navy Baby and the striped liner brush, and we're literally going to colour half of the nail blue. So we've got a blue and nude base effectively. So I like to come in first of all with my striped liner brush, load it up with a generous amount of gel polish, but really work that gel polish through the bristles and then create that nice crisp line, getting it as neat as I can going down the centre of the nail, and then I'll colour in the other half of the the remainder section of the nail with my bottle brush. So we're going to do that again on the second coat. So generous amount of gel polish, but really worked it through the bristles. And then I'm just running that straight down the middle of the nail. I like to come in again just to thicken and widen the line a little bit before we swap to using the bottle brush. And then I'm just going to use the bottle brush just to apply a thin second coat over that entire half of the nail. And I really loved how these two colours worked together. I don't actually think I've done blue in a lemon set of nails before. I tend to always work with green, but I really loved that combination of blue and nude and then adding in the yellow from the lemon water decals. So talking of water decals, the first way that I'm going to show you guys how I apply these is with a jelly stamper. So we have the lemon tree water decals from Kiki London, and what I like to do is cut these out as close to the image as possible. So you want to remove as much of that white backing card as possible, because where there is white on the backing card will be clear on your water decal, but you don't want to have too much of that excess clear image. So cut as close to the image as possible. This is going to differ depending on the image that you cut out. Some are easier to get closer than others. And then we're going to place that water decal face down onto our jelly stamper. Use a angled nail art brush or the round nail art brush to apply some water to the backing paper, and then after a few seconds you're able to remove that backing paper. Then you can simply look through your jelly stamper and place your water decal down exactly where you want it to go. I find this way the absolute easiest way. So we're going to do two nails with the jelly stamper, and then we're going to do two nails the traditional water decal method way. And let me know in the comments below how you prefer to apply yours. So again, we've placed that water decal down, dampened the back of it, took off the backing paper, and you're just able, like when you're stamping, to look through your stamper and line that decal up exactly where you want it to go. Now on this one, as you can see, the decal has come off the nail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rub over it with my silicone tool. This helps really adhere it to the nail plate and get out any creases. Then we're going to take some scissors and trim off that excess overhang of the water decal. Then there's still going to be a little bit, because especially when you're in the cuticle area, it's really hard to cut close. So what I like to do is to take an old nail art brush and pop a little bit of acetone on it and then run it over, and that will melt away that remainder decal. Then the last step to do is to seal your water decals in, and my personal preference, and I would highly advise this, is to always seal your water decals in with a rubber top coat. So I'm going to take the No Wipe rubber top coat. It's a slightly thicker consistency top coat, but it just seals them in beautifully and really helps them last on the nails, especially if you've got clients who can be quite pickety, or if you've got clients who don't want to feel any bumpiness or unevenness to the nail. The rubber top coat completely smooths over those decals. On to the second design, we've got our 2 coats of True Nude, and I'm now going to come in with the No Wipe Matte Top Coat. Now I want this nail to have a matte surface before we come in and apply some foils, because the second way I like to use my water decals is to team them up with nail foils. Now in this particular design, I only want my foils to go on certain sections of the nail. So I'm going to have a matte surface. This is going to make sure that our foils only stick to where we apply our foil gel. So once we've cured our matte top coat, I'm going to take my foil gel and my detail brush and just draw on some abstract shapes. We're just going to do 2, one up towards the more cuticle area of the nail and then one down towards the tip. So I'm just taking my detail brush and painting on. Now it can be a little bit tricky to paint with the foil gel because obviously it's clear, but when you're painting it over a matte surface, it is a little bit easier because you can see the foil gel is going to be glossy, so you can see it a little bit more over that matte surface as well. So that's why it's also handy to use the matte top coat in that instance. Then for our foils, I have the classic metallics. These are my go-to foils for teaming up with other types of nail art because they're golds and silvers and bronze. They're quite neutral, so they team up with lots of other colors really easily. So we're going to cut out a small section of the foil. And then we're going to press this directly down onto our cured foil gel. This is great if you want to get a chrome effect as well and don't necessarily have a chrome powder or don't like using or find chrome powder hard. This is kind of quite a neater way of getting a chrome effect without using chrome powder, especially this matte gold foil as well. It gives off that chrome effect. I really like it. So as you can see, we're now just going to come in and seal that top coat in. So I'm taking my Kiki London top coat. This one does leave an inhibition layer, so it leaves a tacky layer on the nail, which is great for sticking your decals down. And then we're going to apply these the same as before. So water decal has been cut out very close to the image, and we're placing it down on our stamper, moistening at the back of it. You want to give it around 10 to 20 seconds for that water to soak in, and then you're going to easily be able to remove the backing sheet. And I want my decal to ever so slightly overlap the gold design. I just think it looks really pretty when you have layered nail art ever so slightly overlapping. So we're just going to now come over again with our silicone tool. This is going to get out any of those creases. So really rub and smooth your water decal down. Now I do find that when I apply water decals with the stamper method, I don't get hardly any creases or anything that I really need to smooth out, but I do still like to come over the water decal with my silicone tool because it just makes sure that it is adhered well to that gel polish base you've got underneath. Once again, this nail design is finished, so we're going to come in and seal with our no wipe rubber top coat. Now when you're applying this over your nail art, especially over water decals and foils, I like to kind of float it on. So I'm not applying too much pressure with my brush and just coming down and coating the entire nail. You don't need to apply the rubber top coat thickly. Although it has a thicker consistency to it, you want to still make sure you're applying a fairly thin layer just so you don't have no issues with curing. And just look at the shine, is absolutely gorgeous. So again, onto our third nail, we already have our True Nude base. And on this one, we're going to be teaming our water decals with some glitter. So I have already mixed my glitters in with a little bit of base coat, and I'm just applying this using the Kiki London round nail art brush. And I just want this in the center of the nail. I don't want to cover the entire nail with it. Now, because your decals are transparent, you've got the image printed on a transparent film, you will see the glitter through the water decals. So I like to use iridescent or light glitters in this case, just so you'll see what I mean. It gives something extra to the water decal and adds that little bit of sparkle, but you're not going to be fully covering up the glitter, if that makes sense. Before we get to applying the water decal though, I want to seal my glitter in. So I'm going to come in with a thin coat of the no wipe rubber top coat. And because glitter can feel a little bit bumpy on the nail, what I like to do is after I've top coated, just gently buff the surface of the nail, predominantly where I've applied that glitter, and then this gives you that super smooth surface to apply your water decal on top of. So once I have finished buffing, I'm just going to clean up the dust using the Kiki London dust brush, and then I will wipe over with an alcohol pad as well, just to make sure that that surface of the nail is free from any of that dust from buffing. You want to make sure that you don't have any dust because this will stick underneath your water decal and just completely ruin how it adheres to the nail. So for this one, I have already cut cut out 3 of the images from that lemon tree sheet, and I'm going to apply these using the more traditional water decal method. So you just pop them down into your bowl of water, leave them for 10-20 seconds, and then you can just take in some tweezers, peel that backing paper away from the image. Now this way I find they take a little bit longer to dry on the nail, so that can be a good thing because it means you get longer to move your decals around and get them into position. But if you're working on a client and you're trying to be quick, or you're in a salon and speed is a thing that you need to bear in mind, I find the stamp away doesn't seem to take as much water onto the nail, so they dry a lot quicker. But you can see here I've got plenty of time to move that decal around, position it, and that is handy if you are trying to create a certain effect with your water decals and wanting to create a certain image where you're going to need to spend a bit of time getting them into place. When it comes to top coating, you're going to apply your top coat exactly the same way as we did on the previous 2 nails. So mainly the only 2 differences are when it comes to application. Another thing I did want to mention though is the Kiki London water decals are reversible, so you can use them either way round. However, you will only be able to flip them around if you're using the traditional application way. So obviously you can't apply it upside down onto the jelly stamper. So bear that in mind as well if you're doing a set where you need to mirror the image. Like for example this one, if you was wearing it on the other hand and you wanted to mirror the image, you're able to do that if you're applying them in this traditional way. Now the 4th way to wear decals is actually one of my favourite designs, and that is a French nail with a water decal added to it. I think it just looks really pretty when you've got a French design or a French tip and then you've got a little something else just overlapping the edge of that French. So I'm going to take Navy Baby again. I've popped it down on my palette. I've loaded up the Kiki London French brush, and then I'm just lining this up where I want my French to go, keeping the brush quite flat to the nail and then pulling it down towards the tip. Now I like to have a generous amount of gel polish on my brush when I do this. Then I'm going to flip the brush around and use the long section to drag the wings of the tip or the coloured tip down the nail. Now before I used to do this with the stripe liner brush, but I finally got the hang of doing it with the French brush, and it makes it a lot easier because then you don't need to change a brush. Now my application wasn't perfect here, so I'm going to take the round nail art brush and a little bit of alcohol, and we're just going to clean up those edges to get a nice super crisp tip. And I really love the French brush for an easy way to do a French manicure. It's brilliant because it really helps keep your French design consistent across all 5 nails, or all 10 nails, sorry, you would obviously be doing 2 hands. So it's a brilliant brush if you haven't already got it. It can be a little bit daunting at first because I found it quite a unique way to do French. But let's take a look at how you do it again. So load up your brush with your gel polish, line it up to where you want your smile line to go, and then just keep the brush quite flat to the nail tip and pull down. And then again, we're just using the long part of the brush to create those wings if you want like a more elongated look to your French. Then here I'm just using the brush to colour in a little bit more where it looked a little bit uneven and patchy. I'm just evening out that gel polish. And I always do tend to come in with my round nail art brush just to clean up the edges to help get that super sharp look. The more you use this brush though, the more practice you get with it, and then the neater your Frenches become. But if you haven't checked it out already, I highly would recommend it. So once we've cured our Navy Baby tip, we're then going to pop our decals in to soak. And then as you can see here, I'm just peeling that off the backing paper and then placing it down. I like it to ever so slightly overlap over the French tip. Now this is a look that I think probably looks a lot, it pops a lot more if you're working over a white French tip, but I wanted to add in Navy Baby just so it tied in with that first nail we did, and because I really loved how the blue and the yellow worked. So here you can see my water decal has scrunched up a little bit, it's overlapped on itself. Don't panic if this happens, you get plenty of working time with them. So I'm just using my tweezers to pull that around. Be gentle, but you can take your time to just even it out. And then same as before, I always come over with my silicone tool just to make sure that's adhered well to the nail and that there are no creases. It's really important you get your creases out, because otherwise when you come to top coating, you will notice them a lot more, especially if you use a matte top coat. It kind of just enhances the creases if they are there. So do spend that little bit of time rubbing over them with your silicone tool, because it's really worthwhile spending the time doing that and then getting a really seamless finish. So this was the last nail. So I popped this in to cure for 60 seconds, and then this, guys, is the finished result. Let me know in the comments below which nail was your favorite and whether you would wear this fruity lemon set of nails. If you have any requests, again, please do pop them in the comments below and I will be sure to give them a go. If you enjoyed today's video, please do give it a thumbs up, leave us a comment below, and if you haven't already subscribed, I would absolutely love it if you hit that subscription button. I upload videos every single Friday. As always, all the products I've used will be linked in the description box below. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Lots of love. Take care. Bye bye.